The Hall of Thrones was enormous, larger than any building the human had ever seen. Towering ceilings stretched high above, carved with patterns that glowed faintly, like stars frozen in stone. Alien figures filled the hall, their shapes and colors strange and varied. Some had wings, some had scales, some had glowing eyes that changed color with every emotion. They whispered to each other, their voices echoing off the marble floors. All eyes were on the small figure of a human boy who had walked in alone. The human looked around calmly. His brown hair was messy, his clothes simple and worn, but his eyes were sharp and steady. He did not look afraid, even though every alien in the hall was staring at him like he did not belong in the galaxy at all. The council of the ruling species sat at the far end, high above the floor on elevated seats shaped like thrones. Each one was different, designed to show power, wisdom, or fear. Between them stood the Star Throne, the largest and most ancient of them all. It was carved from a single black stone that seemed to drink in the light. Strange markings ran across its surface, glowing faintly with a pulse, as if the throne itself were alive. The council began to whisper among themselves, pointing at the human. "A human?" one of them hissed. Its voice was like metal scraping stone. "They are weak. They are small. They cannot even lift weapons properly. What is he doing here?" Another voice laughed, sharp and high. "He thinks he can sit on the Star Throne? That throne has chosen kings for thousands of years. How can a human dare even touch it?" The human ignored the whispers. Step by step, he walked toward the throne. The hall grew quieter, but the laughter did not stop. Some aliens called him names, mocking his size, his species, and his audacity. "Look at him. Does he think he belongs here?" He reached the steps leading to the throne. The surface of the Star Throne glimmered faintly as he approached. No one had touched it in centuries without being of royal blood, or without passing the secret trials that the throne demanded. And yet here he was, standing before it, calm, steady, and entirely human. The council could not contain themselves. "Sit, human," one of them sneered, though it was meant as an insult. "Sit, and we will all laugh at how small and foolish you are." The human looked up at the towering figures and slowly sat down. The hall erupted in laughter. Some aliens threw their heads back, their voices echoing through the enormous chamber. "Impossible. What a joke. This is insane." The human did not flinch. He placed his hands gently on the armrests of the throne. The laughter grew louder at first, but then something strange happened. The stone beneath him vibrated softly. It was subtle at first, almost imperceptible, but it felt like the heartbeat of something alive. The humans in his history books had written of great machines and tools that responded to their creators, but this was different. The throne's pulse seemed to reach him as if it were sensing him, testing him. Some council members noticed the change and frowned. "Do you feel that?" one asked. The air seemed heavier, filled with quiet electricity. "The throne, it is reacting." Others laughed nervously, trying to mask their fear. "Nonsense. It is just an old stone. It cannot choose a human. Nothing can choose a human." But the human did not move. He did not try to impress, and he did not try to hide. He simply sat still, breathing steadily, looking straight ahead. There was no arrogance in his expression, only calmness, curiosity, and courage. The throne pulsed again, stronger this time. The markings on its surface glowed brighter, tracing lines and shapes that no alien had seen in centuries. Some of the council's elders gasped, their eyes widening in shock. It is activating," one whispered. "It should not respond to him. It has never responded to a human before." The laughter in the hall began to die down. Confusion spread through the council. "Perhaps it is a trick," another said, though doubt had crept into his voice. "Or perhaps he is hiding something. Humans are clever. Maybe he knows some secret of the throne we do not." But the human did not speak or move. He felt the energy under him, the quiet hum of the ancient throne. It did not frighten him. He felt a strange connection, as if the throne were recognizing him, as if it had been waiting for someone like him for a long time. His heart did not race and his hands did not shake. He simply waited, letting the throne awaken around him. Outside the hall, news had begun to spread. Aliens from distant worlds who had only heard stories of the Star Throne wondered if this human could really do the impossible. "A human? Alone? On the throne?" they whispered. "This cannot be real." Inside, the council struggled to maintain their composure. The smallest and weakest species in the galaxy, the humans, were being shown a power that no other species had ever seen. And the human did not boast. He did not demand attention. He simply sat on the throne, silent, patient, and steady. One of the council members, an old alien with scales like burnished metal, muttered to himself. He is not afraid. That is, new. Another whispered, we mocked him too soon. The throne, it sees something we cannot. The human's eyes scanned the hall briefly, meeting the gaze of the council members. There was no anger, no challenge, only quiet understanding. He seemed to say without words that he belonged, not because he demanded it, but because the throne had recognized him. The hall was still filled with murmurs and whispers, but the laughter had almost disappeared. The aliens could feel the change in the air. Something extraordinary was beginning and none of them could stop it. The star throne was waking. And the human, the smallest of all beings in the galaxy, was at the center of its power. As he sat there, the energy from the throne grew, subtle at first, like a gentle wind brushing through the hall. The lights in the markings danced, moving across the surface in patterns that no alien scholar had ever recorded. The human felt the energy, understood it in a way that no alien could. He smiled faintly, not in triumph but in recognition. The throne had chosen him, and the council had no idea what was coming next. And for the first time that day in the Great Hall of Thrones no one laughed. The hall fell silent after the laughter stopped. The council stared in disbelief at the human sitting on the star throne. The air felt heavier now, as if the walls themselves were holding their breath. Slowly the throne began to hum, a deep and steady sound that vibrated through the floor. The human felt it first in his hands, a gentle warmth spreading from the armrests, up his arms and into his chest. He did not move, but the energy of the throne wrapped around him like a soft wind, invisible yet powerful. The markings on the throne glowed brighter. Lines of light crawled across the black stone in intricate patterns that seemed to dance with life. Each pulse of energy was synchronized with the hum, as if the throne were speaking in a language older than the galaxy. Aliens in the hall backed away instinctively. Their eyes widened in fear and awe. No one had ever seen the star throne awaken like this. Not a king, not a queen, not even the greatest heroes of the galaxy. Only the human had triggered this reaction. A council member with long silver tendrils reaching from his head whispered, "It's impossible. The throne should never respond to a human. We are centuries beyond them in wisdom and strength. How is this happening?" Another, whose body shimmered like liquid metal, shook his head. "I do not know. But he has done something no one else could. The throne is alive, and it has chosen him." The human sat quietly, feeling the strange energy. It was not painful or frightening. It was as if the throne were testing him, measuring him. He did not try to control it, did not push against it, and did not speak. He simply waited, and that was all the throne needed. Suddenly, the throne's energy flared. A wave of light shot up from the seat, bright enough to make the council shield their eyes. The pulse of energy filled the entire hall, vibrating through the walls and floors. Some of the younger aliens screamed and stumbled backward, terrified by the unexpected power. Others, older and wiser, simply knelt, feeling the gravity of the moment. The human's body glowed faintly as the energy surrounded him. His eyes shone, reflecting the lights of the throne. He could feel it communicating, a language he could not speak in words, but understood perfectly in his mind. Images and sensations flooded him. Visions of distant stars, planets, and civilizations long forgotten. The throne was showing him the history of the galaxy, its triumphs and mistakes, its balance of power and the cost of greed. The council could not comprehend what was happening. One of them shouted, "Stop! Stop this madness. He is just a human. He cannot survive this." But the words fell flat. The throne ignored them. Its power was not for the council's whims or fears. It belonged to the one it had chosen. The human leaned back slightly in the throne. He felt the energy form around him like a shield, yet it also seemed to flow through him, filling him with strength. His mind raced, not with fear but with understanding. The throne did not want a ruler who ruled by fear or force. It wanted someone who could see, who could understand, who could act with courage and wisdom. Outside the hall, the noise of distant planets seemed to fade. The human could sense it, the attention of the entire galaxy focused on this moment. Ships hovering above distant worlds shifted their paths to look, sensors detecting the sudden surge of energy. Aliens across systems paused their work, listened, and wondered, "What is happening? Why is the throne alive again?" Inside the hall, the council was now silent, too stunned to speak. Some fell to their knees, not out of fear, but out of respect for the ancient power unfolding before them. Others tried to mask their fear with anger. "It is unnatural," one shouted. "A human cannot command such power." But the human ignored the words. He could feel the throne responding to his thoughts, his feelings, even his very presence. It tested him with flashes of light and pulses of energy, asking silently, "Who are you? Why are you here? What will you do with this power?" The human thought only of protection, of fairness, of helping those who could not help themselves. He thought of his species, often underestimated and laughed at, yet filled with determination and creativity. The throne seemed to understand. The energy pulsed in a steady rhythm, no longer harsh or violent, but calm and welcoming. The markings on the throne shifted again, forming shapes that resembled stars, planets, and constellations. The council gasped. No alien scholar had seen such patterns. It's showing him the galaxy, one whispered. It is giving him knowledge we could only dream of. The human's hands rested lightly on the armrests. He felt the throne extend its energy into his body, connecting him to the stars themselves. He could feel the pulse of life on distant planets, the rhythm of civilizations, the ebb and flow of galactic history. It was overwhelming, yet he did not panic. Instead, he focused on understanding, on learning, on becoming ready for what was to come. A loud, resonant voice echoed through the hall, not spoken by lips but by the throne itself. "Who dares sit upon me?" it asked. The voice was deep, vibrating in every corner of the hall, and every being inside felt its weight. The council shivered. No voice had spoken like this in millennia. The human looked straight ahead and answered simply, "I am a human. I seek not power but understanding. I seek to protect, to learn, and to help where I can." The throne pulsed again, brighter than before, and a wave of energy radiated outward. The council staggered, unable to resist the force. Some clutched their chests, feeling fear and awe mixed together. The hall itself seemed to lean forward, as if the building itself were bending toward the human. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, the energy calmed. The hum of the throne became a gentle vibration, almost like a heartbeat. The markings glowed softly, not threatening but alive, almost welcoming. The council could not move. They stared, their mouths open, realizing that the human had passed the first test without even trying. He had sat. He had waited. He had not feared. And in doing so, he had awakened something ancient, something powerful, and something that no alien had ever understood. The human rose slightly, standing from the throne, but the energy remained with him, surrounding him like a faint, shimmering aura. The council looked on in disbelief. "This cannot be real," one whispered. But it was real. The star throne had activated. It had chosen its master. And the one it had chosen was human. The human looked at the council calmly. "I do not seek to destroy or control," he said softly. "I only wish to help. And I will learn everything the star throne can teach me." The council's whispers turned into stunned silence. Some bowed, unsure if it was respect or fear. Others stepped back, afraid to speak. They had mocked him. They had laughed. And now, they could only watch as the human became something more than anyone had expected. The star throne's energy pulsed once more, a soft glow surrounding the human like a halo. The hall filled with a quiet, powerful light. The human had survived the activation. He had proven himself worthy not through strength or cunning or trickery, but through calmness, courage, and a desire to understand. And as he stood there, the council realized the truth. It awakened for the one who was ready to serve with heart, mind, and courage. For the first time in centuries, a human had earned the throne's attention. The hall was quiet, the kind of silence that pressed against every ear and echoed with the weight of history. The star throne glowed softly beneath the human, its energy calm and steady rather than the violent flare from before. The council, still shocked, watched with fear, disbelief, and awe. None dared approach, yet all were drawn to the extraordinary sight of a being so small commanding attention without a word of force. The star throne began to hum again, but softer this time, more melodic, almost as if speaking directly to the human. Lines of light traced patterns across the black stone, forming shapes no alien had seen before. Stars, planets, constellations, and strange geometric symbols filled the air like holograms. The human raised his hands slightly, letting the light brush over him. It probed gently, asking unspoken questions felt in the mind rather than words. A booming voice resonated through the hall, deeper than any sound the council had heard. "Tell me, human, why do you sit upon me? Why have you awakened what none else could?" The human's voice was calm. "I am not here to rule or dominate. I only wish to learn, protect, and understand. My people have been small and underestimated, but we do what we can to survive and help. I wish to use what I learned to protect life, not destroy it." The star throne pulsed in response. Lights swirled faster, streams of illumination wrapping around him, testing his thoughts and judging his heart. The council gasped as the throne projected images into the air, visions shimmering and alive. First it showed the humans' world, oceans, mountains, forests, cities. Humans working, struggling, laughing, crying, their triumphs and failures displayed. Then the visions expanded, humans exploring stars, crafting machines, building communities on distant worlds. Even small achievements were highlighted, showing ingenuity, courage, and resilience. The council could not look away. They had always underestimated humans, seeing them as weak and simple. Yet here was proof of determination, cleverness, and unyielding courage. The Star Throne had chosen this human for these qualities, not for strength, wealth, or status. The human felt each vision not as images but as feelings: fear of failure, joy of discovery, weight of responsibility. The Star Throne tested not just intelligence or courage but character. Could he bear the weight of power? Could he act with wisdom, fairness, and courage? Could he protect life rather than exploit it? The council murmured. It shows him, the story of his species, one whispered. It is choosing him not because he is strong but because he is human. Another, scales gleaming like bronze, shook his head. This is madness. The throne is ancient. It should not respond to a species so small. Yet it does. And it trusts him. The Star Throne's energy intensified. Beams formed around the human, projecting further visions of other worlds, civilizations rising and falling, stars being born and dying, creatures struggling to survive. He did not panic. Instead, he concentrated, letting the knowledge settle inside him. His heart remained steady, his mind clear. The throne seemed to approve. Tell me, it spoke again, voice vibrating through the hall. Do you seek to rule as others have? Do you wish power for yourself or wisdom for all? The human did not hesitate. I do not wish to rule. I wish to learn and guide. Power is nothing without responsibility. Strength is meaningless without purpose. I seek only to protect, to inspire, and to help. The Star Throne pulsed, sending ripples of light outward. The council felt the power brush against them like waves, and even the strongest stumbled. But the human remained calm, unshaken. His courage was quiet, steady, undeniable. A new set of images formed, this time of the galaxy itself. Wars, treaties, betrayals, alliances, triumphs, disasters, all played out in holographic clarity. The human watched, understanding not just with his mind but with his heart. He saw the mistakes of the past and the potential for the future. He understood the delicate balance between power and compassion, fear and justice. Some council members fell to their knees, realizing the magnitude of what was happening. One elder whispered, "It judges him not by strength but by heart." It is unprecedented. The human, feeling the immense knowledge of the Star Throne, remained humble, accepting the lessons offered. Energy wrapped him in a cocoon of light, alive and aware of every thought. He could feel the throne's approval in every pulse, every flicker. Then the Star Throne spoke again, quieter, almost a whisper. You have passed the first trial. You have shown courage, patience, and wisdom. But knowledge alone is not enough. Can you bear the responsibility of what you will learn? Can you act with justice in a galaxy filled with greed, fear, and war? The human's gaze did not waver. I will do what is right even if difficult. I will stand for those who cannot. I will protect life and I will learn all I can to guide wisely. I am not perfect but I will try. The throne pulsed brightly, bathing the hall in white light. The council gasped as they felt the energy flow through the chamber. The Star Throne's trial had tested every part of the human, mind, heart, soul. And now it had accepted him. Slowly the light dimmed, leaving a soft glow around the human. The council spoke, hushed and filled with awe. He is worthy, one elder said. The throne has chosen him. A human. The smallest and most underestimated species. Another muttered, it is impossible. Yet, it cannot be denied. Only he could endure it. The human stood, the Star Throne's energy surrounding him like a protective aura. He looked at the council not with triumph but calm determination. I do not seek to dominate or rule. I only wish to learn, protect, and help. Together we can make this galaxy stronger, safer, and wiser. For the first time in centuries, a human had passed the test of the Star Throne. He had shown courage, patience, wisdom, and humility. And the galaxy would never look at humans the same way again. The council watched silently, knowing they had witnessed history. A being they had underestimated had proven that true worth is measured not by size, strength, or species, but by heart, mind, and courage. And the human, standing on the Star Throne, knew the galaxy had just begun to see what he was capable of. The Star Throne's energy pulsed steadily, wrapping around the human like a living, breathing presence. The council watched in stunned silence, unable to look away. What had begun as mockery had transformed into astonishment, for the smallest being in the galaxy now stood at the center of a power that no one fully understood. The throne had chosen him, and it was revealing its full potential. The human rose slowly, feeling energy flow through him. It was neither heavy nor painful. It felt like stepping into a current of pure understanding, a force older than the stars themselves. The glow of the throne reflected in his eyes, making them shine with quiet brilliance. Whispers from the council became gasps. None had ever seen the Star Throne respond with such intensity to any being, let alone a human. The ancient throne began to hum with a deep, resonant tone. Light streaked from its surface, forming a halo around him, shimmering with countless colors. Lines of energy shifted like living threads, connecting him to the patterns of the galaxy. The hall seemed to vibrate with this power. Even the proudest council members felt an unfamiliar humility. Suddenly, a wave of energy shot upward from the throne. The human hovered a few inches above its seat. The council gasped again, unsure whether to flee, kneel, or watch in awe. The Star Throne's voice rang out, deep and powerful. You have passed the test of worth, human. You have shown courage, wisdom, and humility. Now, feel my power and understand your responsibility. Streams of energy wove around him, intricate patterns filling the hall. The human felt the strength of the throne, not to dominate but to enlighten. He sensed the pulse of stars, the rhythm of planets, and the delicate balance of life across countless worlds. For the first time he truly understood the galaxy's web of energy and life. The council struggled to comprehend. One elder with crystalline skin whispered, "He is transformed. The throne does not merely empower him, it elevates him." Another, a being with wings like liquid silver, added, "He stands not as a conqueror but as an equalizer. The throne has chosen one who will guide, not destroy." The human's hands moved gently, feeling the threads connecting him to all life. Each movement sent ripples of light outward, touching walls, floors, even the council members. The hum of power was calm, alive, and purposeful. Images appeared around him, planets, civilizations, and stars shifting in intricate patterns. He saw the consequences of rulers' choices: wars born of greed, alliances formed for survival, and entire species destroyed by negligence. He understood life's fragility and the importance of balance. The council felt the weight of these visions. Some fell to their knees, overwhelmed. Others tried to speak but found their words stuck. They had mocked him, doubted him, and now witnessed something extraordinary beyond their comprehension. The Star Throne's energy coalesced into a protective aura, alive and intentional. The human sensed its consciousness, ancient, vast, and patient. He embraced it, allowing the energy to guide and teach him. Then the throne spoke softly, like a whisper across the hall. "You are ready. You understand your purpose. You have seen the weight of life, the responsibility of power. Will you use it wisely?" The human's voice was steady, confident, yet humble. "I will. I do not seek control or dominance. I seek only to protect, guide, and learn. I will act with justice and courage. I will stand for those who cannot stand for themselves." The energy pulsed brighter than ever. He rose fully above the throne as light poured around him. The council stared, minds straining to comprehend. The smallest, most underestimated species in the galaxy had become something far greater than anyone imagined. The Star Throne's light spread outward, forming a web that touched every corner of the hall. The council felt the heartbeat of the galaxy itself. The human had become a living conduit, not to dominate but to connect, to understand, and to protect. One trembling council member whispered, He is more than a ruler. He is a guardian. A bridge between life and the stars." Another added, "And he is human. The species we dismissed as weak has been elevated beyond understanding." The human looked at the council with quiet determination. "I do not seek your worship," he said softly. "I seek understanding, cooperation, and protection for all life. Together we can build a galaxy stronger, fairer, and safer." Some council members bowed, not from compulsion but understanding. Others stepped back, unsure whether they were witnessing power, wisdom, or something even greater. The Star Throne's light dimmed slightly, settling into a steady glow. The human descended gently into the seat, the energy still surrounding him like a protective aura. The hall was silent but no longer tense, filled with awe, respect, and the sense that history had been made. The human's transformation was complete. He had passed the trials of courage, wisdom, and humility. He had connected with the star throne, felt its energy and understood his responsibility. The council could see it. He was not a conqueror or tyrant. He was a protector, a guide, a symbol of humanity's potential. For the first time in centuries, the star throne had awakened fully for a human. And the galaxy understood that true strength did not come from size, status, or species. It came from heart, mind, and courage. He looked around the hall, feeling every eye, every expectation, and the weight of his power. Yet he was not afraid. He had passed the trials, proven his worth, and embraced his purpose. He would use the throne's energy to guide, protect, and inspire. The council remained in silence, finally comprehending the truth. They had mocked him, doubted him, and yet he had risen beyond understanding. The star throne had chosen well. The human had become a force that would shape the galaxy in ways none could yet imagine. And in that moment, the galaxy realized that true power belonged not to those who demanded it, but to those who proved themselves worthy through courage, wisdom, and heart. The Hall of Thrones was no longer the same. The star throne's energy had settled into a gentle, steady glow, filling the room with warmth and light. The council stood quietly, still in awe. The human, once laughed at, now sat at the center of their attention, not as a conqueror but as a symbol greater than any one species. His presence radiated calm authority. He did not demand recognition nor speak harshly. Yet every being in the hall knew the star throne had chosen him, and that choice carried weight beyond words. The council members, some trembling, realized centuries of doubt and mockery had been misplaced. A human had risen above fear, prejudice, and expectation, and in doing so had shown the galaxy what true worth looked like. The human stood, the aura of the star throne pulsing gently around him. "I do not seek to rule," he said softly. "I do not seek to dominate. My goal is simple: to protect, to guide, and to ensure life in this galaxy has a chance to thrive. Every being deserves a chance to grow, to learn, and to live in safety." The council was silent, struck by the clarity of his words. One elder, his body patterned with glowing crystal lines, stepped forward cautiously. "You speak with wisdom," he said. "But how can a human hope to influence the galaxy? Your species is small, fragile, and easily dismissed. How can you make a difference?" The human looked at him steadily. "Strength is not measured by size, species, or weapons. True strength comes from courage, intelligence, and heart. I may be small, but I am not weak. I will use every lesson I learn, every insight the star throne gives me to guide wisely. I will stand for those who cannot stand for themselves." The council murmured among themselves, uncertain how to respond. Some felt hope, some fear, others awe. They had always seen humans as insignificant, but now it was clear this human was extraordinary. The star throne had chosen someone who could rise above prejudice and fear, someone who could act not for power, but for justice and understanding. The human stepped forward, and the star throne's energy extended with him, filling the hall like a living network. It touched every council member, not as a threat, but as a gentle reminder of the responsibility they all shared. The light moved like threads connecting each being, showing them visions of cooperation and unity. They saw what could happen if the galaxy worked together instead of against itself. Worlds could thrive, civilizations could prosper, and life could be protected. A council member with metallic wings spoke softly. "Perhaps we have been wrong. Perhaps power is not only in strength or dominance, but in understanding and compassion." The human nodded. "The galaxy is vast and full of life. Every species has value, every being has purpose. We do not have to fight for dominance. We can learn, share knowledge, and protect one another. That is true strength." The council was quiet, letting his words sink in. Slowly, one member stepped forward, bowing. "Then we will follow your guidance," he said. "Not because we are forced, but because we see the wisdom in your words. A human has shown us what we lacked all these centuries." Others followed, bowing, nodding, or standing silently in respect. The Hall of Thrones, once filled with arrogance, now brimmed with hope. The human did not demand it. He only spoke of cooperation, fairness, and protection. In that humility, the star throne's energy seemed to shine brighter. Outside the hall, across the galaxy, sensors detected the change. Reports poured in from distant worlds. A surge of energy unlike any before, a calm yet powerful presence connecting planets, civilizations, and life itself. Many did not understand what had happened, but they felt it. Something extraordinary had awakened, and a new era was beginning. The human looked at the council, then at the star throne beneath him. Its vast, ancient consciousness flowed through him, offering insight, clarity, and guidance. It had tested him, shaped him, and now entrusted him with responsibility. He was not alone. The throne's energy was with him, giving him the ability to act wisely. He raised his voice not in command but in vision. We can no longer see each other as enemies. We must work together. The galaxy is too vast, too fragile, and too precious to be divided by fear or pride. If we unite, we can protect life, explore the stars, and ensure no species suffers unnecessarily. That is the promise I will keep. The council listened, some in tears, others in quiet reverence. They had been wrong about humans. They had mocked and doubted them. Now, standing before them, was a living example of courage, wisdom, and heart. Even the smallest species could rise above expectation and change the course of history. The star throne pulsed in response, extending its light through the hall, a gentle reminder that responsibility was shared. Every action mattered. Every choice could shape the future. The human's gaze returned to the council. I do not seek to rule you, he said. I seek to guide you. I do not seek to dominate but to unite. Together we can create a galaxy where life is protected, knowledge is shared, and courage is honored. That is the legacy I will strive to leave. The council, now united in purpose, bowed deeply. Some offered apologies, others support, many remained in silent respect. The human accepted none with pride. He only nodded, acknowledging their sincerity and the beginning of a new partnership. The star throne pulsed gently, a heartbeat connecting the human to every council member. It symbolized guidance, responsibility, and the potential for greatness. He had been chosen not to dominate but to inspire, teach, and protect. Across the galaxy, the star throne's energy spread, sensed by every capable being. Aliens who had never seen humans in influence reconsidered their judgments. Worth was not measured by size, strength, or species. It was measured by courage, wisdom, and heart. The human stood, feeling the star throne's energy flow like a river of light. Challenges awaited, conflict, misunderstanding, fear, but he was ready. He had passed the tests, embraced the throne's energy, and committed himself to the greater good. Thus began the new era. A human, once laughed at and underestimated, now guided the galaxy with insight, compassion, and courage. The star throne had awakened fully, choosing not a king, not a conqueror, but a protector. Through him, the galaxy learned that even the smallest, most underestimated beings could rise to greatness. The council pledged to support him, not from fear but from recognition of truth. The Hall of Thrones, once a place of pride and mockery, now became a symbol of hope, cooperation, and a future shaped by courage, wisdom, and heart. The human looked once more at the star throne. Its energy shimmered softly, alive and patient, a guide for the journey ahead. He took a deep breath, feeling responsibility, connection, and potential. He had been chosen and he would not fail. The galaxy, watching silently, understood. Everything had changed. A new era had begun, not of dominance or fear but of wisdom, courage, and the triumph of heart. At the center of it all, the human sat on the star throne, calm, steady, and ready to guide the galaxy into its future.